Ulonkata bati yada tó yẹ kó máa da Ifá. Inú tó yẹ kó jẹun ló fi bí pa. Ọbàtálá, ọba takuntakun. Ṣàngó, Èṣù, Ògún, Ọya, Ọ̀ṣun. Ìwọ ló ń bọ̀ nílé. Kí ni ṣẹ̀ṣe tán ṣe nílé yìí o?
Lafia, peace and blessings, peace and blessings. Welcome to another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Bemi, and today we have on our community elder, as always, Oloye Baba Ifa Ori. Lafia, Boroboye, Boshishe. What's going on, Baba? How you doing?
Boato, I am doing very well. Okay. I am doing very well. This whole Ifa, the magnitude of it is just overwhelming. Okay, so listeners, I'm giving you my disclaimer again, as always. Hold on, all right. Hold on, because we're going in.
And we're going to go hard. And we're going to go hard. And we're going to go hard.
Go hard or go home.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yeah, man. Yeah, so with that, Baba, I know we got a very, very important topic today. Very important. And, I feel like this is an excellent follow-up to the call or the show last week, last week that went up with talking about the warriors, with the Eshu and Ogun call. And that call has been getting a ton of feedback, a ton of traction and engagement. Like, people are really, really digging that, that particular episode, because, you was in your bag, Baba. You was in your bag, man. You was doing your thing, and I was just sitting there and all like, yeah, it's like Mike, man, in Madison Square Garden. Jordan, every time he went to New York, he had to light him up, man. The Knicks hated Mike when he came to town. So I was like, boy, Baba out there pulling an MJ out there, man. He was in his bag on that SU Ogun episode. So the people was loving it. They was feeling it. So I feel like this is definitely a perfect topic to, I think, follow up with that particular episode. And with that, real quick, if you don't mind, I'm going to give a quick shout out to Hund, the Nigerian-born artist who was on the show, about maybe a month ago, who has phenomenal Isheshe music. And so he has a song that's actually titled what we're going to be talking about today. So I wanted to, if you don't mind, just give a quick play of the Hund song, and then to also introduce what we're going to be talking about today.
All right, set the stage, my brother. Set the stage.
Yeah, 100 or nothing. Ayọ̀ ní kókó, babaláwo tó kì í fá fún iná. Ọjọ́ tó ń ṣóhun gbogbo tí orí rẹ̀ kò dẹ̀ dáhùn sí. Wọ́n ní kí iná bọ̀rí kí orí rẹ̀ lè dáhùn sí ohun tó ń ṣe. Ọjọ́ tí iná bọ̀rí lórí iná bẹ̀rẹ̀ sí ní gbé iná. Ẹ̀jẹ̀ orí mi dáhùn sí tèmi o. Ẹ̀dá mi dáhùn sí tèmi o. Orí agbe tó fi jọba nílé aró. Orí àlùkò àlùkò jọba ní kòsó. Orí mi sọ mí dọba. Ẹ̀dá mi sọ mí dọba. Orí lórí màmá jẹ́. Orí lórí máa jẹ́. Orí lórí màmá jẹ́. Orí lórí máa jẹ́. Orí lórí màmá jẹ́.
Listen, Baba, I felt like that was the perfect intro, man, for today's topic.
You are on time and ahead of time. All right. At the same time.
I say.
I'm feeling it deeply, and then what I could pick up from the Yoruba, I mean, hearing it all throughout my being, you know, and not just the words, but the music is right there, as you so wisely stated and so perfectly strategized, you know.
Sure.
A nice set for the topic of this evening.
I see.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
shout out
man.
to 100, man. He was on the show a while back. I can't wait to get phenomenal artist, man. That brother is nice. He actually produced and writes and records his music. So that song gives me chill bumps. So it's such a powerful, beautiful song. Like it's very powerful, very powerful. And so, and real quick, what's even more I feel like amazing about that song is the Odu that we spoke about a few episodes ago that ended up making it onto the cover of the project that I'm working on.
Mm-hmm.
Actually had that same exact Odu on the album cover for that song. Like it was unbelievable. And if I'm not mistaken, I almost want to say that same day that I realized that I want to say either the day that we did that episode or like the day after. And I'm like, yo, this is nuts. Because I know you and I had just talked about it. I don't remember if it was the same day or the day after, but I realized that he had that same Odu on the album cover of that song. I'm like, man, you talk about a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man.
Divine order, my brothers, all in divine order. And I know the listeners are like, okay, when y'all gonna let me know? Let us know what's going on. You know,
Right,
all right,
right.
all right. The suspense is killing us. You know?
I say.
Hang in there with us, people, because we just setting the stage.
Yes, sir.
Setting the stage.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So talk to us, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the stage has been set. It was beautiful. Like I said, once again, shout out to my dude 100 and Ori. But today, yeah, bye-bye. I'm always the co-pilot. You're the pilot. So I just strap in and strap on my seatbelt and get all the, the flight attendants and everybody set up so we can take a flight, man. So, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to take flight. And with that, yeah, we want to jump into the Ori, the Ori is a very, very, intricate piece to everything, that is involved with the Isheshe, with Ifa, with Orisha, within even mindfulness, within self, inner self, Iwa Pele. I mean, so many different things that, are attributed to this essence that we call the Ori. So I feel like who better to not have this conversation and discussion with than someone who has, wrote books that talk extensively about Ori, that's given lectures, talks around the country or around the world about, Ifa and Isheshe and, Orisha. So, in terms of the Ori, Baba, like what are some of the most, I feel like, relevant and also important aspects of this essence that we call Ori?
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a short story long. Okay. Because see, I'm an elder. I can do that. Right?
That's what all the stripes is for.
When first involved for a number of years, that made it the first step or stage of involvement for myself. And as I took note of others, one interesting point reoccurred, and that is very few, if any, knew about Ori. Even though the word Ori clearly is in Orisha. No breakdown about it. No talks about the bringing forth of a consciousness that is the containment for the Ori. all of the Iles, houses, temples that I had frequented for those years, all of the diviners, be they visiting from Nigeria, okay, be they of the Santera folks, okay, not one time was there, okay, we're gonna really get into this Ori of Orisha, and we're going to stay in it, because without the mindset, okay, without the essence of consciousness, many things are lacking. One of them is mindfulness, okay, meditational practices, okay, directive clarity, focus, and concentration, a consciousness of being. Okay. And once I, through research and dialogue with the ancients, my own Egun, it was like, okay, we need to have Ori as a priority. You cannot have Orisha without Ori. Orisha is the empowerment, the upliftment, the development of one's Ori. Why don't we hear about it? Why isn't it a major point? I dare say because even the teachers don't know what to teach. You were just basically regurgitating what we've been forced into the mold of, right? And that's okay. I mean, things happen, but things also need to not happen, okay, in terms of being, now I'll coin the term, iconoclastic. We break away from the frame that we talked about, step outside of the box, or at least deeper into it, and start discovering what is evident. You can't deny Ori and embrace Orisha. It's like, it's not going to happen, but it does. People can feel it in their hearts. You know what I mean? And people can feel it in their ceremonies, and people can feel it in their ebos, and there's all different kind of ways to put a finger on the pulse, but there has to be a body there. You understand? There has to be a body there, and that body has to have some semblance of life. And if there's some semblance of life, okay, the inference is the person is not brain dead. Now, it could happen. There's states of vegetating, all right? There's states of coma, and there's also states of ignorance. In a positive sense, when you don't know what you don't know. Okay? You don't know what you don't know. But the devastation comes from years upon years and teaching upon teaching that doesn't focus on a core element. It's like going to school and not learning how to read. You understand what I'm saying? So what is it you keep going there for? Okay. Oh, well, we just, having fun, or we're just doing this and we're just doing that. But once you leave there and, you start stepping up into like an adult world or young adult world, and you find that, the ability to read and the capacity to be analytical is something that is a necessity. It works in your favor. Okay. So, I just need to kind of preface everything with that. We don't know what we don't know, but that doesn't mean that we have to remain unknowing.
Facts.
Hence African spirituality experience, hence the books, hence individuals such as ourselves.
I sure.
Okay, disseminating the knowledge and the people who are tuning in and listening. From what I understand, things haven't changed much. There's no real discussion of the mindset, the mindfulness, the consciousness, the psychological dimensions, the therapeutic, mentally speaking, as well as emotionally, okay, that's going on. Now, going back to days one, you need a rogation. That's what the synchronous term for what we would call in Ibori. Okay. Ibori, Ori is right there. Okay.
Baba, is that also known as a head cleaning as well?
Yes.
Okay. Just for those who may not know the technical term.
Right. So, we go through all that, and well, I've done them. Very rarely was there any prayers for the Ori. Very rarely, the person who the Ebo is being done for, the Ibori, the rogation, the head cleaning, knows what's going on. It's just, I needed rogation. I had to get this. Okay, but what does that have to do with your Ori? It has everything to do with it. But we don't go past the Ebo. We don't go past I got to get this, in order to appease my Ori. Well, okay, so what's your Ori? I don't know. But that's okay. It's okay not to know if you honestly don't know. But let's face it, at a certain point, okay, the clicking of I need to know, and whether I learn it from where I am or where I'm going, that doesn't really matter. I need to learn it. Okay. So, like I said, I'll preface it with that. I understand that most of us, the greater majority of us, haven't really been taught.
Yep.
Okay. We haven't really even been, pointed in a direction. Where our parent knew, whatever, the Baba Yellow Orishas, whatever, even the Babalaos, aren't saying, read up on this so that you can improve how you view, how you think, how you analytically and intellectually involve yourself in Ifa and in Isheshe.
Sure.
Other than that, come back, and we'll do another Ebo, or when you need more divinations or something like that. And as a side note, but directed, I thought about that deeply. And again, this is kind of a side note. Okay, everybody, just hang in there with me, because you know how I get. All right.
Baba, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, go ahead.
And don't mind me. I'm trying to pull up a book that is I feel like it's a metaphor. I should say it's a comedic version of the Ori, and it's a phenomenal book. I just found it, and it's by Dr. Richard King. And the name of the book. Questions I had while I pull that up. One of the questions that I have is, do you feel that a person should get a head cleaning or Ori or Ibori cleaning simply because they're feeling like out of whack or out of sorts, or what I mean, like the energy's down and off, or just not really feeling balanced, or just feeling like clear and alert? Or is it something that should come up in divination first? Because that's something that has been a topic of discussion amongst myself and a few others Because some people will say that they just want to get a head cleaning just because maybe they've had one before, they've heard of it, but they don't, necessarily know all the details and the ins and outs like you were just stating. And then others, most people would get them primarily based off of what they received through a divination consultation. So is there a right or wrong approach or way to do that in terms of people getting them just because they feel like they want one, or should it be something that people get based off of the message coming through divination from the oracles?
All right. Well, my response to that is, okay, always divine. Okay. And always kind of keep in mind that Ifa says, before divination, there should be wise consultation. That's something that has just been taken out. Okay. So I just want to come for a reading. I don't really, I'm not geared to think that I can kind of talk my way to understanding or even want to listen to understanding. Okay. I came here for a reading. I want to know what you can tell me that I haven't told you. And I'm like, okay, we kind of need to step away from the circus and get into the seriousness of our ancestral ways. People weren't just paying to go be hyped up and all excited because somebody could tell you what you didn't tell them. That's some television, that's circus stuff. But when we start to really study Ifa and then reflect upon Ifa and hear our ancestral voices speak and kind of explore that reality in our world, then we start to say that this is a science, this is a practice, this was the therapeutic system. It wasn't just, I feel like I want to experience, this Ibori. I'm a little anxious, so let me go get 2 pigeons and climb. Yeah, that's not going to do anything for you, for a minute. There's people who take drugs who have that same kind of attitude. What I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a little stressed right now, so let me spark up, or let me hit, hit this 40, Huh?
No, I was agreeing with you. Like, taking a couple of shots of that yak, for try to eliminate the frustrations. So,
right. For the moment.
Yeah. Temporary fix.
It's a temporary fix.
But not even temporary escape.
Yes. Right. Well, good point. It's not a fix. It's a cover up.
Yeah.
And we can get into the elbows, and I got to do my, and I feel as though I need to do this because I'm feeling that, or and all of that. They're just covers. And the more you lay those covers on, the more you find yourself with and around people who don't know how to act. I don't care if they have Orisha or not. I don't care if they Babalaos or not. I'm telling you straight up.
Big facts.
You just keep covering up with it. Now, a sincere diviner, when approached by someone who wants all of that, and say, we need to have you kind of get this off your chest. Okay. Because see, you might only need to go for a walk in the park. You understand what I'm saying? You might need to change up your diet a little bit because all of this hyped up food that you're eating is disturbing your mental acuity. You're just all hyped up all the time. How many cups of coffee did you drink today? 12. Oh, okay. Well, that might have something to do with the way you're thinking. You think. Okay. So trying to cover up with Iboris and rogations and all of that, I think we can statistically prove that that's not the answer. Okay. The answer is getting your head together. Okay. Trying to figure out what is psychologically traumatizing you. And then let's go to the Orisha. Then let's determine if we're going to make offerings to your Ibori or not. And even if it comes up in a divination, the Baba Orishas and all that, you just don't jump up and do it. That's not our way. Okay. Take your time and get the person not so much to know you. That's secondary. Okay. The job of the priestly is to get people to know themselves.
I say, Baba, I gotta jump in on this one. I know I hate to do it, but I have to do it. Well, the reason being is because that's something that's been kind of a very consistent, I would say, something that I've been dealing with consistently as I work with people, in the community, especially within Isheshe. And I think one of the most important things that I always stress with people is like, don't feel like you have to do this right now. Don't feel like the end of the world is going to happen if you don't get it done right now. My job is to tell you what I see and to let you know what's being communicated through the oracle from the deities and from the Egungun, the Egbe, etc. But also know that they know everything. Like they know and see everything that's going on. So they know if it's a financial constraint or, constriction, that they're going to be there to help you and assist you to even get over that hurdle or barrier, because I've seen it happen with my own path. You know what I mean? So I know as long as we're obedient and we listen and we do the work and work towards whatever it is that we need to do to make these things happen, it will happen with the assistance from the divine, because I've seen it in my own life, and you've shared stories about how it's happened in your life. You know what I mean? So, but one of the things that I find myself saying the most common or the most often when I'm dealing with people, when I'm having these types of meetings or consultations, etc., is to trust yourself. Trust your intuition. Trust when your spirit speaks to you. Trust that inner thought, that inner feeling, that gut feeling, that strong, self-talk or internal conversation, because it's real. And the more you trust it, the more you listen to it, the stronger it gets, the louder it gets, the clearer it gets, because at that point, spirit knows that they can trust what they're delivering to you, because they know that you're listening and you're also being obedient.
Yeah. See, and that's so powerful, Now, truly, let's just take it to the other side. Most scammers wouldn't come across like that. Fast talkers, okay, money grabbers. I just heard today about some wild stuff that's been going on, and I'm like, come on, people, you know what I mean? But see, we need to be trusting, and when we encounter people of certain positions, priestly, preacher, head of a finance company or whatever, we are more trusting than perhaps we need to be.
That's facts.
Okay. And when individuals come up like yourself, and I like to say like myself, who are like not trying to run a game on you, you know what I mean? I'm doing what Orunmila has brought forth through his wisdom and his understanding, and that is the priestly must help, be a part of, assist in the upliftment and the elevation and the aligning of the people. And that's why back in the day, a lot of Ifa priests were not very financially stable. They had sometime they had it, but they were like any group globally, when you think about Buddhist monks or the Shaolin, you think of people who become self-generating. We look out for each other. We don't want to depend too much on the people, because then we'll start manipulating and abusing them with our ashe.
Yep, that's facts.
And we see that across all religions. They go come up with a way to get you. And it's not only religion, which brings me back to my side note. Doctors are the same way, for the most part.
Doctors, lawyers, priests, pastors, cops, officers, judges. I mean, we can go on and on and on. It's any position of power, any position that is above by a little dab of the rest of the crowd.
Right.
There are so many of those that do those types of heinous, acts and heinous types of, thievery, and what I mean? Like it's disgusting.
And one could say, oh, well, that's the way of the world. And well, that might be true if that's your world.
Right.
But my world, I don't live like that. And anybody who comes into my world, onto my universe, my gravitational pull or whatever, it's like, no, I'm going to be the way that I'm supposed to be, and either you're going to understand that and we grow together, or I'm okay by myself. I don't need you. You know what I mean? I don't need you. But but I don't need you because I don't need to be made into what you are foolishly attempting to make me, which was one of the reasons I shut down my temple after 21 years. Okay, I just wasn't going to start becoming the preacher. I wasn't going to start becoming, the person that all the people were trying to kind of put me into that place of, So I didn't run away. I told them straight up, I'm not going to do it, And when it come down to a relationship, she want to start trying to make me into that something, and that something is not me. I'm like, well, you got two choices. You can either back up, or I'm done. I'm done with it, because I have to value what's important to me. Okay. And now when relating that, all to Ori. Okay. If you're not of the mindset, if one is not of the mindset where focus and study and being analytical and applying intellect is the priority, as opposed to, I just feel it in my bones, or my heart was telling me, or, and all of that, then we start to have a little difficulty. Things get a little twisted. Because we like thinking with every part of our body except our Ori.
Right.
And we run into every Orisha except Ori. When Orunmila tells us in the Odu, and I could cite it, you got Ogunda Meiji, you got Irete Meiji, we can go down the list, where you have to propitiate your Ori. Because every other Orisha is only going to go so far with you and tolerate your foolishness up to a certain point. But Ori is like, you're going to always have a chance with me. Develop yourself intellectually. Develop yourself, in terms of attuning yourself. Okay? And this is what makes you accessible to the real inner workings of Ifa and Isheshe. I'm not saying it because I'm saying it. I'm saying it as a disciple of Ifa, as a son of Orunmila.
Ashe.
Okay. So now let's take it another step further. We have people in Isheshe and people not Inisheche or nor Ifa who don't believe that our ancestors have that type of, mental capacity, okay, to be, mindful and structuring mental exercises and going through processes of inner circling of self. We don't give all these ancestors that we say we all about and going to we don't give them the credit they deserve. I'm telling you, we just don't.
That's facts.
And the reason why we don't is because we're not immersed in it when we're young. Okay, it's not reinforced in terms of the society that we live in. It's not reinforced and not even discussed in schools. Okay. And then we have, the Abrahamics, we can imagine, Christ and the disciples, we can imagine Noah, we can imagine all of these holy people. But when it comes down to our own, it's like we got a little bit of difficulty, wrapping our minds around that. Okay. Now we can even imagine Buddha, and we can imagine again Buddhist monks, Shaolin monks. We can imagine all that because we've seen it. Okay. We have knowledge of it. However, it's misinformed. Okay. At least it's there. Okay. And then even along with that, when we relate ourselves to something that powerful, it's always in connection with another culture.
Facts.
Yakuza, for example. Oh, well, he was a Japanese samurai and all that kind of. See, we get excited when we connect with someone else's culture.
All the while, that's all just a little offspring of our culture.
And all that's good, but why don't we know anything about what's our culture and not the offspring?
Right. Because we don't have enough people having these conversations, and these conversations having enough reach to touch the masses.
Exactly.
But it's happening.
And that's why we're here. Okay. And that's why I'm striving personally, okay, to do everything I can to do something about that. Because if we don't do anything about it and we're the priestly, how can we expect the people to do anything about it?
Facts.
We can shake fingers at him and tell him, he's gone about everything all wrong. But if we're not, again, like you so wisely stated, having these discussions and putting real work out there, books, classes, divinations with helping you to grow, not just, oh, well, Shango needs a goat, or, Oshun needs a this. Yeah, all that's fine. But what do I need? What do I need? Oh, you need to do this and make sure you have your money. All right. So, I'm sure it could be argued, and the term you use, I think, last week, the whole slippery slope thing. But for the most part, let's just look at what we're doing and determine if we need to make changes or not. And the answer from where I'm sitting in my little corner of the universe is like, oh yeah, there's a whole lot of changes that need to be made. Okay. But it's not going to be made unless we are strategic, analytical, and intelligent, applying our intellect. Sure. Our ancestors were all of that. And maybe, yeah, we do need to see more of the African sage, the African priest, outside of some Eurocentric noble savagery, or this African voodooish thing, or they just doing stuff, they ain't really real. But we had sages, we had holy people. We have a holy city. I brought that up last time. I never even heard about Ife going through all of these temples and stuff like that. Every other religion will let you know straight up. We got Jerusalem, Bethlehem, we got Mecca, we got all of this. All righty, Shay people, what y'all got?
Listen, but this is something too, Baba, that I'm going to figure out a way to kind of create a bridge, because one of my favorite cultures, and I've stated on this channel and so many other places and spaces about, I got my first true exposure to African history and historical, culture and religion and all those good things through the Kemetic sciences, the metaphysics and the Kemetic sciences. I studied ancient Kemet for a long time before I even found out about Ifa Ori. However, the deeper I went into Kemetic sciences and studies, the more I would see and hear more about Ifa, because they are interchangeable. They really have a lot of deep connections, and that's something that we can get into on another call. But I want to share something real quick, Baba, with you and the listeners for the topic of Ori, and from a Kemetic perspective, or a Kemetic, I would say, aspect, right? The book I was looking up when you were speaking earlier is called The African Origin of Biological Psychiatry by Dr. Richard M.D. King. I'm sorry, by Dr. Richard King, M.D. And this is just a little quick blurb from the book, from the beginning of the book. It speaks about the black dot, also, which I'm pretty sure they're comparing to the pineal gland, right? So that, to me, I feel like the pineal gland and the black dot are, to me, I feel like they're like the brain aspect or the physical aspect of Ori. That's my own personal little interpretation. But I'm gonna read this blurb from the book, and it says that the black dot is an ancient symbol for blackness. It is all the black seed of all of humanity, the hidden doorway to the collective unconsciousness, darkness, the shadow, primeval ocean, chaos, the womb, the doorway to life. This is a review of the ancient Kemetic Egyptian study of the psychological processes of transformation of the human neophyte into the priestly order, and the advance of human genius by the priestly order, a process of select multisensory education, inner vision, as shown as in 1349 BCE, the second shrine, right panel. The black dot is the ancient symbol for blackness. It is the black seed of all humanity, the hidden doorway to the collective unconsciousness, darkness, the shadow of the primeval ocean, chaos, the womb, and the doorway to life.
Shame. I mean, there's no escaping it. Now, go to any Ile and talk to a whole bunch of Ishe folks about that black dot, and they'll be looking at you like, okay. I just need a rogation. Somebody get some pigeons and some cascarilla or some effun or whatever, and butter,
some cotton.
And wrap your head in white. So I'm not saying that, again, people, please, okay, try to understand that wherever you are, that's where you don't have to stay unless you choose to. Now, if that's as far as you can go, or if that's as far as you wish to go, then fine. But we're here to let people know that there's a growth process to involvement with anything, to be right honest with you. Okay? Nobody is still the same as they were when they started off in life, unless that's what they choose to do. Okay? That's right. So the knowledge that was just shared, okay, by Baba Orisha Bami, that's pertinent. And when you look at the Kemetan and you look at the word Fa, okay, Fa is a musical sound that has a certain vibration that brings the cognitive body to a certain state. Fa. And all of you music folks who are into do, re, mi, fa, so la, you know, it's there. But where does all that come from? That's Kemetin. Okay. And all of that understanding didn't make it, okay, happen within the West African mindset. It just gave the West African mindset a name and a doorway to further explore it, to further come to grips with it. And now you have the emerging individuals, like you have in any culture, arising on African soil. You have Orumila, you have Orumila's disciples, a Koda and a Sheda, okay, who set out to bring these teachings to the wider audience, people who are just there to listen. Some agree with it, and trust me, some did not. Just like wherever you go and whatever you do, but it stuck, and it made an impact, and it became Ifa, and it's still called Fa amongst the Fan people. Okay, so all of this is important, because see, that level of consciousness is about Ori, that level of mindfulness. Now back to Fa as music. Why did we feel that song, even if we didn't understand a word, okay, that the brother was saying? He chose the right music in the right key, at the right tempo, with the right harmonies, to bring about a certain feeling that opened us up to, I may not understand the words, but I'm listening. And when I hear Ori, I know that my Ori is hearing Ori. And the feeling that I have is intensifying. Okay. The Ori. You may want to go and get some, you know, ebo. And I might just say, listen to this song.
Ori, Ori, Baba, yeah. Listen, and the thing about it, Baba, the people who, like I said, the true, like the true hardcore listeners of the show, if they watch the show that he was on, we had the brother 100 on. He actually spoke about how he comes up with his music, and his music literally gets delivered to him from him, sitting, listening, harmonizing with the music, with the beat, with his mind. And he sits there and he literally connects his Ori with the consciousness that we just spoke about in that excerpt. And then he can literally create the music, the words to go with the music. And he creates the music. So all this is literally being transmitted to his Ori.
Yes.
And he has a superb gift that he is one of those, I don't know what, he's a unicorn genius, because he's a multi-genius. This brother is a producer and a writer and a singer. He's an artist. So he, you know what I'm saying? Like, so he can do a lot of things at a very high level that most people can't do at any level. You know what I mean? But he can do all three, with producing, writing, and singing. But all of that comes from him tapping in and connecting his Ori and to spirit.
But you know what that makes him? That makes him a Babalao. That makes him an Onishekun. That makes him a healer. You got to go through all of that. Sometimes you're just gifted with what you're gifted with. And he's utilizing it to assist in the development of the people. And that's more than a whole lot of priestly folks are doing.
Hey, Baba, and what's even more dope about that, the song you heard and several other, matter of fact, he even is the artist behind the theme song to this show. Like the intro and outro is 100. Like that's the song. But he actually made all that music before. He literally is a brand new Awo. He just got initiated Ifa recently, like right before he came on the show. So he was doing all this before he was actually even considered an initiated Awo Ifa. Right. But his spirit and his heart was there. He gave nothing but the praise to, you know, Olumara, Ifa, you know, and the IJ. Like, I mean, it was a phenomenal show. Well, but it just, you know, everything we're saying.
It's back to a Yamo. If that's your destiny, okay, then 400 years ago, he would have been Babylao in training at 7 years old, you see. But the world is not like that anymore, you see.
Right.
So we have to grow up and kind of navigate around the challenges and the changes. But you know what? We get there. We get there. You know? So he was already initiated. He just had to go through the ritual part of it. Like I felt as though I was already initiated. I was reading folks before I made Ifa. You know, I won't say I was doing divinations because I wasn't, you know, made, quote unquote, you know, but I was out there doing the work with juicing up things for people, you know. Oh, I'm constipated. The doctor said I should take this medicine, but it's not working. You know what I mean? Okay. I have my juicer. I would be going out to festivals selling the juices out of coolers and whatnot. You understand what I'm saying? So it's always been a part of those who it's a part of. We just try to find a place to put it.
Facts.
It's like, I've been calling you while you was in the womb, son.
That's real too, man. Listen, my yeah, she says, and I love this quote, but priests aren't made, they're born.
See?
Like, you're born a priest or a healer, priestess, Babalawo, Ifa, Orisha, you're born that.
Now, what happens after you're born, that could be a little tricky.
Right.
You know, you could get caught up in the wrong thing. You could even fear it. You know, I don't want to get into that. You know, I have these dreams, or I knew that was happening. You know, I you know. So where do you find comfort? You find comfort in a system that says it's okay to be that. You don't have to fear it. It's not ungodly. You know, it's not sinful. You know, it's not abnormal. You know what I'm saying? It just needs to be realized and channeled. And how else you going to do that if you don't apply your mindset? Now, I want to go back to what you said about the brother and his meditation on mystic states.
100. Yes, sir.
What we also don't get is that type of practice. I never in 7+7+7 years heard anyone in Yoruba, Orisha, Shay, or even Ifa talk about meditative practices. Not once. Never. This was back in the day when it was still, you know what I mean? And I appreciate the fact that it was in its infancy.
Right.
You know, as far as the African in the Americas. Okay. But even when I start, you know, looking at the people from Cuba and, you know, the Latino folks, I never heard them talk about it either. And they had a longer, you know, lineage or run with it than we of, you know, the 13 colonies, you know what I mean? So once I started studying and breaking ground and, you know, basically confronting folks about, you know, why isn't this a part of it when it is a part of what we need?
Facts.
You know, again, it's like going to the doctor and instead of telling you to, you know, drink carrot, beets, and cucumbers, you know what I mean? He's like writing out a prescription because he gets a take on that, you know, all of that. Or the chiropractor doesn't tell you to get a pull-up bar and just hang so you can, you know, stretch your spine. It's like, no, come back, you know, because we got to keep working on you. You know what I mean? Never, I'm going to give you the tools to work on yourself. And meditation is a tool to work on yourself, to work on your Ori, to bring the Sha into your Ori. Okay. And so I started teaching some Yoruba terms Yoruba terms that connect to meditation.
Gotcha.
Because even when I was, you know, as a Tai Chi practitioner and someone who studied yoga back in the day, I wasn't satisfied with the the Asians being the owners of it, not when it was evident that it was practiced back in Nubia and Kemet. So taking it from the Upanishads of the Dravidians who preceded the Brahmans of the Aryans, which is the kind of yoga that we know now, and preceding the current people of China who supposedly developed Tai Chi and all of that. You go back further and it was from India, and you go back further and it was from Africa. So I'm what I do is African. So I wanted African terms, because if it's African, then there were African terms for it, and there were African teachers of it. So I'm going to be all in eight African traditional religions, and I'm going to, be all historically African. But I'm still not. We got to face it. Okay. So I found some terms that I'm going to share with a few with our illustrious listeners. Okay. Isharo means meditation in Yoruba. Okay. It was there before the invaders. Our people were meditating, going out and up into the mountains, and putting mind, body, and spirit in their commune with nature, and being taken to states of what's called Lae, Lae, okay, the mystic state of meditation. Couple of more just to let folks know. All right. Ifa is the name for oneness with all of creation, as with the Tao of Tai Chi. Okay. Idake Roro is a name for spiritual silence. Okay, people, I'm fasting off of words. I'm not speaking for the next 4 days. I'm just listening intently. Okay, that's Idake Roro. Balaga, spiritual consciousness awakens. Dhamma, the quieting of senses and actions in order to meditate. Setting your stage. And then Dawa, which is where I'm at right now, okay, and loving it. Okay. Dawa is a term for self-existing, living in solitude for the purpose of spiritual growth.
Enlightenment.
These terms, these are our terms. This is our science. This is Ori. Why aren't we meditating? Or even if we're just trying to just
balance.
A minute, yeah.
Recalibrate.
Yes.
Reset.
Tune
up. It's a lot. It's a lot that we. Bye-bye.
You know what I mean? Do whatever, because see, we're hooked on the Eurocentric, or the African people, they just jump up and down and dance wild, and just all that. Well, yeah, some of us do, and when any of us feel like doing it, we can do it just like any other people.
Thanks.
But what you won't ever say is that we were meditators, that we were creators, okay, that we developed these artful sciences that became the steadfast, icon of different cultures.
The lighthouse of the world.
The lighthouse of the world. But we got the lighthouse, but the light not lit. Okay. The structure is there, but somebody need to turn on the light for it to be a lighthouse. Okay. Other than that, it's just a house. And so that's why I get intense about it, because there's a lot of breaking through that needs to be done, my people. You know, we, as a suggestion, you know, have to put Ori back as a priority and get off of this merry-go-round of ceremonial and sacrificial. Okay, yes, they have their place, but we're overdoing it at the expense of not studying our history, not having our heroes and sheroes. Okay, not having our own God concept, Olodumare, Oyigi Yigi Ota Aiku, the stone that never breaks. Olodumare, the owner of the Odu. Olo, you see Odu in Olodumare.
Mm.
Okay. We have so much to do. And I realize that not everybody's, you know, going to feel it like this. But for those of you who do, you need to know that there's a haven, that there's a place that understands what you know you need and is not going to try to give you what you really don't need. And that is the runaround. Okay. We only got one good life, you know, and running around, it can be equated to wasting a whole lot of time.
Mm.
And just for a moment.
Yes, sir.
Now, the alignment is called Ipori, Ipori. You see Ori in there. When you align your Ori up with your Ipamri, which is your inner self, that inner being that dwells within you, that's called Ipori. Ipamri is the inner self. Ipori is the alignment of the inner self with the self. Okay. And the priestly are set by Orunmila, and not just Babalaos, the priestly are set to assist a person in that alignment, in that recognition, in that embracing of the inner self that dwells within each and every one of us has an inner self. Meditational practices help us to understand that. Tai Chi helps us to understand that. Various other art forms help us to understand it. But what we don't understand is that they were all African. And what we don't understand is that our involvement in it is something that's going to take us out of this Eurocentric oppressive mindset where we've been so socially and psychologically engineered that we think, oh, that's just, when I was taking yoga back in the day, oh, that's just what white people would do. You know, some of my little hip buddies would say, you know, why are you doing that? They say, that ain't no white people stuff. This is our stuff. They are, you know, culturally misappropriating and gentrifying our stuff. This belongs to us.
Facts.
But you so set on seeing white that you can't see black.
Facts.
You know? So I did a lot, you know, to break through that and became one of the only black teachers around of these kind of things at the time. But it was like, I'm not trying to be white. I'm trying to be my African reality. And everything in my Ori is stating you are on the right track. Because you only being what you've already been.
Mm.
You're only becoming what you've already been. And you're either going to accept it or you're going to fight against it and then suffer all kinds of psychological, you know, disruptions and breakdowns and addictions and all of that kind of stuff because you're not aligning your Ori with your Ipamri. Because nobody's teaching you. And when they try to teach you, you have to break down and say, I don't know, Jack, man, I need to sit down and listen to this. I feel it, but I got all of these mental blocks, you know. I don't know if I can deal with it. you know. But you can deal with self-destructive tendencies, but you can't deal with knowledge.
But fear too is fear of the unknown. Fear of, you know, the out of the norm, fear of the out of the box, fear of thinking outside of this matrix that, you know, a lot of people, I feel like, live in, you know, that especially in the physical body, a lot of people are held hostage in this matrix. Real quick too about what I want to share, but I didn't want to interrupt, but even the color black itself, for those who are into, you know, painting, or those who are into just colors or anything that has to do with the arts, black is the one color and the only color that you can get every other color, especially in the primary colors of the rainbow. All of those colors come from the color black. Every single one of them. Every single one of them. And then if you think about it, the universe is black. There's nothing more vast than the universe, the multiverse, whatever you want to call it. It's black.
Right.
It goes back to the black dot of consciousness that we spoke about from Dr. King. And what I wanted to get into before we close it out is that in that small phrase, that paragraph, that excerpt, which is maybe 10 to 12 sentences long, he spoke about science, he spoke about nature, he spoke about consciousness, he spoke about spirit, he spoke about a lot of things from a comedic perspective in terms of the definition or the identification of. But we can even break a lot of those elements down, and they correlate directly to the Orisha. The consciousness is the Ori. The primordial oceans is Olokun and Imoja. He spoke, you know what I mean? So we can literally break them down and lock them in like Legos to the terms of Ifa and Isheshe, which further explains that we're all connected because we're all a part of the all, a product of the all, children of the all, the universal prime creator of it all. We are the children of that creator of the all of the all. And so, you know, if we really can accept that and really process that, I feel like it could really shift the paradigms and the mentalities and the spirits of a lot of, you know, our people across the globe. But real quick too, Baba, because I wanted to share, I got a saying that I say among people who I'm close to, especially in my inner circle, like about people who be hating and throwing shade and this and that, because it's a lot of that. But, you know, it's fuel for me. It motivates me. So when you do that, you're fueling me. I'll pull 2 or 3 all-nighters in a row just because that's just how I move. But one of my favorite quotes to say to people that I'm close to is like, man, when people talk about me or like the work that I do or how I'm not doing something right or this, that, whatever they say, I don't care. But I'm like, my thing is don't come for me, come for my teachers. And you pack a lunch, a dinner, a breakfast, and a snack, because I don't see nobody doing nothing with none of my teachers. Like, I'm cool. You can say whatever about me, but just know if you really want to come for me like that, you got to really come and see who my teachers are. And I feel like from there, I want to share something from one of my teachers that speaks about like meditation and yoga and Isheshe. So this particular piece right here is breaking down how the chakras relate to the human body, but also correlates to the Orisha. So in this particular book, talk about the first chakra, the anal region, being connected to Shango. The second chakra, the reproductive region, being connected to Imoja. The third chakra, the navel region, being connected to Oshun. The fourth chakra, the heart region, being connected to Ogun. The fifth chakra, the throat region, being connected to Baba Obatala. The sixth chakra, the third eye, being connected to Orumula. And the seventh chakra, the crown chakra, is connected to the Ori. And then it even breaks down the goals of all these meditations, like, and how they correlate to not only each Orisha, but to the person who is practicing these meditations. And that would be from this, none other than the handbook of the Yoruba religion.
I was about to say, what crazy man, what crazy person wrote that?
Listen, that'll come from one of my teachers. The yours truly, the Baba Ifa Ori. But nah, that's real though, Baba. I think like I really can't I don't know if I do it enough, but I can't stress to people and the listeners of this channel for sure, like how intricate, how necessary, and how mandatory this particular piece of work is, because the handbook is telling you. I've been telling people since the first copy I ever picked up, that to me is the Ifa Ori Bible. Because I've said that to you, I think maybe from the first time I actually met you, but I was saying that long before I met you, long before I even knew, dreamed that I would actually meet you. I was telling people that because for me, that's what it was, especially at the time in my journey when I found it. You know, so it's like now I have to like really just even on the air or on the podcast give thanks to Spirit, because it's definitely a divine alignment. Because the first time I picked up this book, never in a trillion years would I have imagined that I would be sitting where I'm sitting now and speaking to the man, not only the man who wrote that book, but also working on a collective partnership with this channel with that same man, where I'm seeing people put the same comments on this channel that I said about this book. And that's powerful. Like that I will not take any credit or stand on no mountain and scream about me. That's the divinity. That's the creator. That's the Igungun. That's, you know what I mean? Like that's the guys. And it's like I get thanks for all of that. For you, for the whole, you know, maturation of this whole thing even happening. Like that's divine. And it just hit me right now in the moment of how divine that really is, because, you know, that's how Spirit works.
Yeah. I do pray, you know, I give thanks, you know, to all, you know, to all, and especially to you and the people, because see, for all of this that has come through me and, you know, made such an impact upon me to deliver the word is one thing, but to have people listen and be moved by those words and be matured and developed and enlightened by those words, there's no greater joy. There's no greater joy, you know. And so I humbly and sincerely, deeply, you know, give thanks. Give thanks. I do pray, you know. And we're going to keep going, because there's people out there who are listening. They want to hear. They need to hear. I need to speak it. I need to hear it. I need to continually reflect. And interestingly enough, the Yoruba term for reflection is otito ye aye. Otito ye aye, which is the finding of truth here on earth. And I'm like, okay.
Can you repeat that again? Can you say it in Yoruba one more time, Baba? That's...
I'm going to make a slight correction. Otito ti aye. That the truths that we find on earth come through our reflections of life.
I like that.
And we can't reflect if our Ori is all over the place.
I like that.
It's dim, is shallow, is ungrowing. We have to continually work on our Ori. I'm 72 years old, and it's like I'm not even. I'm middle aged. You understand? You know, and my mindset doesn't come from me thinking about it. No, I'm out there doing it. You know, because
I said, you doing it, and you doing the damn thing.
Yeah, you know. It's like, come on, I got books all over the place. I'm studying, I'm reading, I'm figuring out how to articulate. I just finished book 2. You know what I mean? Right now, I'm motivated by the time that's happening and the people like yourself who are, you know, coming to me and saying, Baba, we need you. You're an elder in our community. Don't fade into obscurity. You know, don't just lean back and been there, been that, you know, done that kind of attitude. You know, there's still more to do. And I'm like, you got the right one now. Right? If there's still more to do, let me show you how it get done. Okay.
I love it, man.
All right. I just want to say this before because I wanted to tap on into the three areas of Ori, so to leave our listeners with something to go on. Okay.
Can I share something real quick with you,
brother?
Yeah.
Before we
go into that. So
right.
with that, everything you just said, and it's so dope. I'm gonna have to see, can I find this clip? But everything that you just said is so phenomenal to me, because I was literally just listening to an interview. I want to say it was today on Drink Champs. Shout out to Nori and Drink Champs. And they were interviewing E40, West Coast OG rapper, like pioneer in the West Coast from Oakland, I believe. And he was they was asking him about his relationship with Tupac. And he was like, what if you could share like what one like one of your favorite moments or experiences you had with Pac, what would it be? And his answer was, I would share like how humble and down to earth Pac was. He was saying he was having like an event, like a community event or something, I think in Oakland, and like Pac came through and just was chilling, like vibing with the whole crowd, like vibing with his people, his families, you know what I'm saying, his homeboys, his parents, like everything, and then even with the people, and just chilling, like literally just chilling, like he one of the family, like one of the crew, and he's Pac, you know, and it was just like the people were so blown away and so amazed by his humility, and his humanity, like the way he just was just like a down-to-earth, humble, real brother. Right. But on top of that, he was like, that was like one of the most special moments, most memorable moments for me, because how much it impacted the people in the community that I care about and I pour into the most. But also, he was like Pac's work ethic. He was like, yo, Pac probably wrote like 9 songs a day. Literally. He like, yo, 9 songs a day. Pac probably was banging out 9 songs a day. He was like, and I'm telling you, like an off day, he might have dropped like 4. He said, so that particular day we talking about, I don't know if it was a 4-day or a 9-day. He was like, but the work ethic, Pac's work ethic was impeccable. Like impeccable. And you think about it, after he transitioned, he dropped albums for maybe about 10 years or more, if not more than 10, 15 years. He had albums coming out. You know how much work that takes?
Yes.
And not just songs I mean masterpieces.
Yes.
That's timeless. We can put them on right now in 2024. Something that was created before 1996 is still timeless.
Spirit. And
that reminds me of you. It reminds me of you of how you still like getting it in. The people don't even know how hard you're going, but I see it. I respect it. Hey, look, it motivates me. So I just wanted to say that before we went into the close, because I just saw that video today. But it really speaks to, you know, some of the things that you're doing.
I share.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, do you read? Okay. Or day? Okay. It's just like, you know, that concrete mind, you know, like a child looking at their reflection in the mirror. You know, the child sees that it's a child, but there's no real thought processes going on. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like, you know, my hair needs to be combed or whatever. You know, I'm not really thinking that deeply about it. I just see with my outer mind. Okay. Then we have the Ori Inu, which is more reflective. You know, why do I think the way I think? Why am I looking this way? You know, why does my hair need brushing? Not my hair needs brushing, but why does it need to be brushed or braided? You know, how am I looking to myself, and how are others seeing me? You know, this all becomes part of the reflective process. It's all reflection, but there's different degrees of it. First degree, second, and then what I like to call the meta reflection. And that's when we're at the gates of the Isheshe and we are seeing self as more than self. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking at me in this mirror. My hair is now braided, but now I'm going to put cowrie shells in it because it makes me feel like my ancestral mothers. You understand what I'm saying? So we see each other differently based on what mindset we're on. And when we stand at the gate of Ori Isheshe, now we're moving into those higher states, okay? That Lai state, So this is a part of Orisha. Sha means empowerment. Sha means upliftment. Sha means elevation. The Orisha are there to assist in that process. They're not just there like we shared with Shiru and Ogun. They're not toys. You understand what I'm saying? They're not playthings. Although we enjoy playing for them, with them, okay, our concepts of them are very entertaining, and they bring in, and again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that's limited. It's limited, okay. And that's what I want to leave us with this evening. Let's step beyond the limited and more into the unlimited, which is our Ori, and the stages of which continually empower us. And then that leads to Iwa Puele, okay, balanced character. Iwa Lewa, the oneness with nature. And Iwa Laye, proceeding forth in life without regression. If you stop smoking, then stop smoking. You understand what I mean? Don't keep flip-flopping back and forth. If you're gonna stop doing something that that you need to stop doing it, then stop doing it. But granted, you just can't wake up and do that. You go through what you have to go through, your 12 steps or whatever. But the whole thing is, Ifa Laye is the culmination of Iwa Puele and Iwa Lewa, when we can move forward in life without regressing back to self-destructive tendencies and bad character and separation from the nature that we are. Feeling me? Yeah, you understand what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I say.
All right.
I say. Yeah, no, that was powerful, Baba. That was powerful. Very powerful. Yeah, I just whew, that was a lot. That was a lot, man. That was a lot. And that's funny because I'm having flashbacks of the Warriors episode because it was just like so many jewels. And you and I have spoke about the topic of Ori several times, and about how like I think underappreciated, malnourished, like just like pretty much treated like almost like I wouldn't say a stepchild, but like not really a part of the family. But you gotta think about when we talk about, Ifa, Sheshe, and the Orisha, like you broke that down a few episodes ago, in terms of how
Arumila.
I'm sorry, Arumila asked all the Orishas which one of them would stay with their human for the entirety of their life, from the beginning to the end. And one
Right.
accepted that challenge, and that one is the one that we're speaking about tonight. So the way I feel it is like this is powerful, and I'm gonna share this just because I feel like Spirit speaking through me now. When we talk about the one, I would encourage anyone, if you have the time and if you have the freedom to watch the movie The Matrix. Watch the first movie, The Matrix, Part 1, and think about Neo being the one, and then maybe watch this episode again and like tie in the correlation to the one of the Ori, and then the vastness of the 400 plus of the Shah, the empowerment of the Orisha. And I feel like this episode will speak to you on a whole nother level. And to make things even more deeper, Baba, as we close, just to be perfectly clear, the movie The Matrix was a godsend. And the reason it was a godsend is because that movie came from a sister.
Yeah, yes.
And if I'm not mistaken, Baba, wasn't the title of the book that the movie was stolen from called Sophia Stewart? The one. Okay.
From what I recall.
There you go.
That's that black dot, man.
Family and that female, that IJ, and the mothers. So listen to me. If you haven't heard of Sophia Stewart, you haven't read the book The One. If you want to really go deep with this, subconsciousness and the Ori and tapping into spirit and the universe, do yourself a favor, look up Sophia Stewart and her book The One, and then read that and watch the movie The Matrix, and then listen to this, and then kind of compare all of that with Ori and everything else that we share, because it'll really take you to a whole nother stratosphere. Because everything that is happening on this planet, we are the progenitors to, and it all began with melanated people. And the oldest human remains that I know of that's ever been found were those of a melanated woman, and there hasn't been anything found other than that.
Yeah, her name was Dink Nash, and I want to plug one of my books, A Place of Night, War and Resurrection. Okay, a novel that I wrote a few years back, but it's all symbolic. It's all allegorical. It's all divine intervention, the human construct, and the feedback has been very, very good, in terms of the novel, and so I would invite my people to look up A Place of Night's War and Resurrection by yours truly, Eori and Its Significance. Yeah.
And I have the link in the description too, Baba.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So it's been real.
Yes, sir. No, I appreciate it, man. That was I feel like that was another classic. I feel like that was another classic, man.
You hit with that music though. When you put the music on, that was on time, man.
Listen, and you know what? And we're gonna close it out with that, Ori, too, because I feel like, for one, it's a win-win for all of us. Win-win for 100. Because shout out to him, he is phenomenal. I love the brother's music. I love him. Humble spirit, like he doing his thing. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. Shout out to all the listeners, the subscribers, everybody who's been tuning into the channel. We really, truly do appreciate all the love and support. I really, truly do. I look forward to waking up and seeing some of the comments from the people, man. It's like I look forward to responding because, we are, but and it goes back to one of my favorite African proverbs and quotes. It is, I am because we are, and because we are, I am. I had a couple of announcements I wanted to share with the good people. First and foremost, shout out to everybody who is new to the channel. Shout out to those who have been here from day one, and shout out to everybody who's came in midway through. We definitely appreciate all the love and support. It goes a long ways. I appreciate the comments, the feedback, the shares, everything. Like, we definitely appreciate y'all. That goes for me. Shout out to Baba Shango Ni, the host of the Isheshe Post as well. We appreciate all the love and support, family, first and foremost. And with that, we got a couple of events, memorial service for the Oba of Oyo Tunji. Shout out to the Olori Temple and all of his family, from Olori Temple, sisters, all the family members who are related to the Oba, who's part of the Olori Temple. My condolences again to Olori Temple. My condolences to all of Oyo Tunji and the Oba. But then also shout out to the Ma'at Family Farm. They have the Black Survival Weekend going down December 6th through the 8th, 2024. I'll have more information and more details for this event coming up in the very near future. We will have all the details as well as how to go about getting the tickets for the Black Survival Weekend. But December 6th through 8th, 2024, the Ma'at Family's Farm presents the Black Survival Family. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, bye-bye. I'm going to leave them with that Ori on the way out, and I appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of the African Spirituality Experience. I am your host, Orisha Bami. Shout out and praise and all due praise and reverence to our mighty, iconic community elder, none other than the Oloye Baba Ifa Ori. I appreciate you, Baba, for sure.
One love, my people. And remember, reflect. Well, Tito, TIA, reflection brings the upliftment of self in the world.
I see.
Okay.
I see.
Ori lori ma jẹ́, ori lori ma jẹ́. Ori mi, ori lori ma jẹ́, ori lori ma jẹ́. Ẹni tó gbàgbé ilé sàpò ìyàgbọ́, tẹ́ǹtì ẹni takísà ní tàtàn. Ò bá padà sílé àní tìjà kọ, ẹja lọ pé eégún mo sí ẹni gbẹ́rẹ́ ìpàkọ́. Forsake not your ancestors and praise your